Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Livingston City Council, date October 2nd, 2018. For closed session, we do not have any reportable actions. We'll go ahead and get started with our regular meeting. If I can get pledge allegiance. Council Member McCabe, could you lead us in the pledge, please? Thank you, Councilmember McCabe. If I could get roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember McCabe,
Present.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Present.
Councilmember Siqueiros,
Present.
Mayor Soria.
Present.
For the record, Mayor Pro Tem Samra is current in attendance and is absent as excused.
Okay, move along. Do we have any changes to the agenda, Council? No changes? Okay, we'll move on forward to awards, presentations, proclamations. Item 1, invocation by Livingston Police Chaplain, Mr. Mike Outen, and introduction of swearing of new police officer Jeffrey Godfrey and police dispatcher Kristen Bandoni by our police chief, Mr. Ruben Chavez, and myself.
We pray for our local and state governments, and we ask that you bless them, guide them, give them wisdom in the decisions they make for our community. And Lord, we just pray for Kirsten Bandoni, who will be honored today as a dispatcher, and for Jeff Godfrey. I ask you to bless them, guide them, lead them, direct them as they make decisions that affects everyone in this community. I pray for their spouses, that you encourage them and give them support they need to carry on the duties that they're about to perform. Bless our council members and our mayor. Continue to guide them, and we pray for our election coming up this November, that you lead and guide your people, that they will do the right thing as they nominate this November. We thank you, Father, for that. Bless all those who gather here today. In the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain On. Next, we'll have our chief, Mr. Ruben Chavez.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor, members of council, and members of the public and community. I thank you all for being here. I know there's various reasons for your attendance tonight, but the fact that we get to celebrate the two employees joining our police family, having you be here to witness that is really special to me. So thank you. Mayor, before we start, I'd like to just kind of go over what we're doing tonight. We're going to introduce a new dispatcher and a new police officer to the Livingston Police Department. And before I do that, I just want to talk a little bit about what it takes to be a dispatcher and a police officer. And I want to give a shout out to our police personnel who are staying in the back room, the officers, dispatchers, detective, our communications manager, Maribel. Thank you for being here to support this occasion. So dispatchers, I mentioned this last time, dispatchers are the first reassuring voice when somebody calls 911. Anybody needs the police for whatever reason, whether it's for non-emergency or whether it's for emergency, somebody needs help. When you pick up that phone, you call 911, the first voice you hear is going to be somebody working the dispatch center, whether it's police and fire. And they're entrusted with reassuring those callers that help is on the way. We will be there to help you out. And it takes a special person, a special talent to be a dispatcher. They have to be versed in multitasking. They have to be answering the phones, typing in the computer, maybe talking to another officer, maybe answering the counter. Multitasking is very critical to those dispatchers, and a lot of times folks might have a difficult time, but it's a special skill set that dispatchers must possess to be a good dispatcher. And so, like I mentioned this last time, those that work in the food industry are pretty good dispatchers because they're the ones that are helping people at the tables, asking for what they like to order and multitasking, and we've had some success in that area. So we'll talk about that here in a second. And empirical evidence shows that being a dispatcher is one of the most stressful occupations there are in our society. And so I'm thankful that we have 6 dispatchers at our police center. And not only do we dispatch for Livingston, but we also dispatch for Gustina as well. So moving on to police officers. I've been a police officer for 36 years. I can tell you firsthand, also, these are people that put their lives on the line, day in and day out. They go to a 6-month police academy. They go to training for 6 months. They must do an intense background where somebody is going to investigate every little aspect of that person's background to see if they're fit, if their integrity is there, the morality is there. They've displayed a certain characteristic to be a police officer. And so it's just not everybody could be a police officer. They go through some training on an annual basis, and I've invited counsel in the past. We do the shoot, don't shoot scenarios here at the police department. We have a trailer that comes out there, and again, I'll let you know when we have it, and you guys are more than welcome to come out. But officers put their lives on the line every single night. Say tonight, 3 o'clock in the morning. I know Officer Godfrey will be out there patrolling the streets, keeping our community safe. And when our residents are out there in their homes, resting and sleeping and getting ready for the next day, our officers are working out there making sure that they're safe. So I thank them for what they do day in and day out. One of the most important aspects of being an officer is making sure you're up on all the laws. You know, there's so many rulings that come out, court rulings, Senate bills, Assembly bills that come out that dictate how we as a law enforcement agency must perform. There might be times when you have a very critical decision to make, and those decisions, if they're not made correctly, they can end up in a lawsuit, and that's where cities expose themselves to liability. And it could be simple as arresting somebody, using too much force, things like that expose us to liability. So officers have to perform their duties with the utmost respect, professionalism, and being attentive to every single ruling and law that comes out. So with that, we're going to invite our new employees one at a time here, and I'm going to ask them to come up one at a time, and then we're going to swear them in together, and then we'll have the badge presentation. So first one is Dispatcher Kirsten Bandoni, badge C10. And don't be embarrassed, just come up here, stand in the front. You can face this wonderful audience here. And by all means, families here, if you guys want to take photos, we'll get a chance to do that. So Kirsten grew up here locally in Gustina and in Turlock. She graduated from Hillmore High School. And Kirsten comes to us with a lot of experience. She actually moved to Dalhart, Texas, the Panhandle of Texas, small community, about 4,000 people. And the way she explains, there was probably like 2 restaurants and not a lot to do, but she ended up becoming a dispatcher down there for a couple years, dispatching for them. So she has that experience. She also worked in the food industry, and while she was down in Dalhart, she worked for a restaurant, I'm not sure if it's still there, but the Bar H Steakhouse. So it looks like Delaney's up there to support Mom. Yes, you. Delaney, yes, you. You're there to support Mommy. So Kirsten is married to her husband, Jake, and together they have a 3-year-old daughter who you're meeting right now, Delaney. Delaney is a miracle baby, as Jake and Kirsten experienced her birth at 25 weeks as a micro preemie. Delaney bonded the family closer as Delaney was required to stay in the hospital for 78 days before coming home. And look at her now, you wouldn't tell. She just looks a ball of energy. She's a testament to the health organizations that we enjoy here in the Valley. Kirsten enjoys going on motorcycle rides in the mountains with her husband, and maybe one day Delaney could ride with her dad on a motorcycle ride up in the mountains. Attending tonight are Kirsten's mom and dad, Kelly and Jean Day. Gene is a deputy with the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department sitting in the front row. So honored to have him here, and he'll be assisting Jake in presenting the badge later on. Also attending tonight is Grandma Carol, Brother Devin Bandoni, who's a volunteer firefighter in Window Lake, and then also Jake and Delaney. So next I'm going to have Officer Godfrey sum up the... You asked, yeah. Again, I think he's saying his dispatchers always have their back, so he wants you to have his back right now. So Officer Jeff Godfrey graduated from Grace Davis High School in Modesto. He obtained his bachelor's degree in criminal justice management from Union University. He also obtained his master's degree in organizational leadership from Brandman University. He came to Livingston Police Department as a reserve recently. He's got 20 years of law enforcement experience. In 2000, he became a full-time deputy with the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department, and I believe you actually worked with Deputy Day because you guys kind of knew each other when they walked in, so it's good. While at the Sheriff's Department, he worked several special assignments, including a 5-year assignment to a multi-agency DEA task force. And while working in the Sheriff's Department, he also worked as a prevention consultant for the county's behavioral health and recovery services, developing and implementing drug education and prevention programs, something that's badly needed here at Livingston, and we appreciate the skill sets that you bring there. 2011, Jeff tested for and was selected as a sergeant with the UC Merced Police Department. 4 years later, I think he left to go make the big bucks in the private industry selling high-tech equipment, which I believe he's still going to do that on the side a little bit. He was a director of sales and training with Special Services Group, a private sector company providing products and training, consulting to law enforcement agencies in the field of covert surveillance and intelligence gathering. While he enjoyed a prosperous career, I believe he missed law enforcement and wanted to kind of get back into it full-time and came to us as a reserve officer a year and a half ago. We are privileged to have Jeff join the Livingston Police Department with his wealth of experience. Attending tonight's swear-in are his wife, Patty, and their daughter, Joey, and unable to make it, his other daughter, Amy. So with that, I'd like to invite our mayor to give the oath of office, and then after that, we'll have the family come up to present the badges, pin the badges. And by all means, we're family. Don't be shy. Come on up. Bring your cameras. Don't be shy. Come up right to the front. This is a special moment. We're having two employees join the police family. So,
Test. Okay, we will do ladies first. What I hold here is the City of Livingston, Merced County, California, Certificate of Appointment and Oath of Office, State of California, County of Merced. And this will be presented to Ms. Kristen Bandoni. I will go ahead and do the oath. Just repeat after me, and when I say I, just state your name, and then just repeat after me. I
Kirsten Bandoni.
do solemnly swear and affirm. Oh, please raise your right hand, I'm sorry. That I will support and defend the Constitution
That I will support and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
that I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to the City of Livingston family and the Livingston Police Department family. You have the badges, Chief? Yeah. Okay. All right. Same process, Mr. Godfrey. Please raise your right hand. I state your name.
Jeff Godfrey,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution
that I will support and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear
that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
that I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties about which I'm about to enter.
the duties in which I am about to enter.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard. If I can get a round of applause for our new dispatcher and new officer. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you'd like to come up and say a few words, you're more than welcome. If not, no? All right.
I thought
All right.
dispatchers like to talk, right? You go up there and.
Congratulations.
All right, I think, Mayor, I think if it's okay, we'll take a few minute break to maybe photos with the family and then, what do you want?
Take off from our break and continue on our council meeting. Next on the agenda, we have Miss Jackie Benoit. She's going to be doing the awards for the Sweet Potato Festival Recipe Contest, Bike Drawing, and Dress Your Tater Drawing.
Perfect. Thank you guys for your patience. We'll make this quick. First, we're going to recognize everyone that won during the coloring contest. So as I call your name, if you're here, if you'll come up and hold your award, and then we want to get a picture with you as soon as we have them all handed out, okay? So our coloring contest for the 2 to 4-year-olds, first place, we have Johnny Zamora. Is Johnny here? Come on up, Johnny. Thank you so much. You did such a good job. Can you stand right here, and we're going to get your picture in a minute, okay?
For folks in the back, there's seating up here if you want to come up
absolutely.
front.
You stand with your brother? All right, second place, we have Hannah from Head Start. Is Hannah here? Come on down, Hannah. Here you go. All right, congratulations. Can you come over here and stand next to Johnny? Thank you. Next, we have Raquel from Head Start. Raquel, where are you? Is this Raquel right here? No? Okay. Well, are you her teacher? Yes. Okay, we'll give it to you, and then you can give that to her, please. Next, we have our 5 to 7-year-olds. First place, Anahi Aguilar. Is Anahi here? No? Okay, second place, Yuritzel Duran. Come on down. Congratulations. If you could just stand right here next to these guys over here. You can go on that side. That's give you a little more room. And then we have Japneet Ranu. Where are you, Japneet? Here you go. Congratulations. If you can stand right there. Thank you. Now we have our 8 to 10-year-olds. First place, Natalia Plasencia. All right, congratulations. Next we have Isabella Chavez, second place. Isabella, are you here? Okay. We'll have to get that to her. And then third place, we have Olivia Torres. Olivia, there she is. Here you go. Thank you. Congratulations. You can have us there. Okay, now we have our 11 to 13-year-olds. First place, Vada Martinez. Vada here? No Vada? Okay, second place, Angel Martinez. Angel Ayala. No? Okay. And then we have Aliva. No Aliva? All right. All right, can we get a, Chief? Will you get a picture of these guys? Can you guys all scoot down here in the center with these beautiful faces behind you? There we go. Hold your certificates nice and high so we can see them. Cheese. Beautiful. We'll fix that, okay? One more. We have one more. Come on up, sweetheart. Sorry about that. One more in the picture. Thank you, sweetie. Alexa, and she was, how old are you, Alexa? 9. Let's give them All right, next we're going to recognize the winners. You guys are welcome to go back and have a seat. Thank you so much. Our recipe contest winners. Third place goes to Catrice Prince. She had a sweet potato panna cotta. Is Patrice here tonight? There she is. Catrice is also the owner of the Sweet Potato Pie Company, and if you were out at the Sweet Potato Festival, you probably had some of her cheesecake, cake balls, muffins, pie. So I'm going to give that to you if you'll stay right up here. And in second place, we had Love Livingston, and she made homemade ice cream with Japanese sweet potatoes. Is she here tonight? Oh, come on up. Thank you so much. If you wouldn't mind just standing right here too, please. And then for the second year in a row, Mrs. Whitney Vickers, sweet potato cinnamon rolls won first place. Whitney, are you here tonight? Oh, she is not. All right, would you mind getting a picture? Okay. Right in the middle, please, with our council members behind you. Oh, nice. Congratulations, ladies. All right, so our next contest was Dress Your Tater. So we had a goal of 200 taters to be dressed. Lowe's gladly came in and said, hey, let us help you. So they provided all the materials that we needed to dress our taters. We didn't realize what a hit it was going to be. Can somebody please click on that picture up there for Dress Your Tater? It's on the desktop. So our goal was 200 potatoes, and we did 201. So we felt like, woohoo, we did it. So we have all of the taters here. We had them in the refrigerator for the last week. They held up good. And you guys are welcome. Well, we'll have the winners come and get their tater. So I thought that it would only be appropriate that Katie Mon, who was the organizer for Lowe's, to put this together, would give out the awards this evening.
Okay, I just want to say that we were happy, Lowe's was happy to be a part of this, and we didn't realize how well it was going to turn out. But we are looking forward to helping again with it next year, and hopefully maybe we can have more potatoes than 200. So we're going to start with the 4 to 8-year-olds first place. Forgive me if I say your name incorrectly or pronounce it wrong. So for 4 to 8-year-olds first place, Jihadi Torres, are you here? Go up there. Second place. Oh, go ahead. Second place, 4 to 8-year-olds, Ariela Chavez. Are you here? Okay, third place, 4 to 8 year olds, Ryder Kirby. Are you here? Okay, next is going to be 9 to 12 year olds. First place, 9 to 12 year olds, Alexis Chavez. Not sure if we have. Second place, 9 to 12 year olds, Kaylin Randalls. Third place, 9 to 12 year olds, Natalie Ramirez. Next is going to be 13 to 18 years old. First place, Ashley Leos. Second place, 13 to 18 year olds, Gilbert Garcia. You can make it. Third place, 13 to 18, Manuel Salazar. The last category is 18 and up. For first place, we have Nelly Valencia. There you go. This is for you too. Second place, Linda Lindenberg. And the last one for this is third place for Shauna Luciano.
That's my sister-in-law, and she's not here.
Okay, we'll give it to you. Give it to her. Are you okay to take this one too? I'll put this behind yours, just so it doesn't get messed up.
All right, if we could just get a picture with all of our potatoes right here, folks. Come on down. Go ahead, Kate. And you can give them their aprons. Thank you. And kids, if you'll come up here, Lowe's has an apron for you. That is so cute.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know if it was more fun watching people make them.
It was really fun. I had a good time. So I can I take my sister-in-law's?
Absolutely.
Sorry, I don't know if you have anyone. Okay.
Okay. So I just want to thank Lowe's again for being a part. You know, Lowe's strives to be a part of the community where their stores are. And the people that help do it on a volunteer basis. So it's really exciting to see them give back to their communities. So I just wanted to give them a certificate of appreciation so they could hang it in their store to let people know they were at our Sweet Potato Festival and helped us with the Dress Your Tater. So thank you. Now to make this even go quicker, we're going to give everybody a bucket. You know, and it's really neat that we get to do this tonight, that Sue is here. She's the one that got us started on doing this at the Sweet Potato Festival. All right, so they do have strings around them because the kids that are in these drawings had to complete the total circuit of education booths on sweet potatoes from farm to the table. So if they completed everything, then they got to put their passport in for a drawing. So I know that they still left the strings on them. So you'll just have to close your eyes, stick your hand in there, and pull one out. All right. Who has the 15-inchers? $12. Are we missing a bucket? Oh. Okay, so you have the 12? Okay, we'll go ahead and take that. So the first winner for the 16-inchers is Angelina Zamora. Take that. All right, so 12-inch girls. Ooh. Isabella Robles. 12-inch girls. $16-inch boys. Adam Ashley from Ripon. For the 20-inch boys, Tegan Bashart. $12-inch boys, we have Alexander Rodriguez Mascoro from Atwater. And last but not least, it's like a present. Melanie Cabrera for the 20-inch. And that's it, folks. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, kids, for coming out. You did a great job.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you again to Lowe's, and thank you for coming out to our Sweet Potato Festival. Thank you to all the ladies, and congratulations on winning. And we look forward to our next year Sweet Potato Festival. Comments? Maybe do on the council. Any comments? On this? Okay.
Jackie, maybe you'll do a dress potato for the council next year.
All right, moving forward, we have item 3. It's youth and flavored tobacco products presentation.
Does this clicker work? You'll click it? Okay. All right. Well, good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. My name is Daisy Lopez, and I work with the California Health Collaborative. I also have some young people here that work with us at the California Health Collaborative, and I'll have them introduce themselves after the presentation. So the California Health Collaborative is a nonprofit organization. We're committed to enhancing the quality of life and health of people of California, particularly looking at the underrepresented and the underserved. Over the last 25 years, the California Health Collaborative has been implementing tobacco control programs throughout the state of California, and we currently have 7 of these programs that are currently funded, 2 of them that actually, or 3 of them actually that serve the community of Livingston. So the program that I'm representing today is called API PACT, which stands for Asian Pacific Islanders and Partners Advocates Countering Tobacco. And we're a Central Valley Regional Tobacco Control Program, and we're tasked with reducing tobacco-related health disparities and improving health equity among Asian Pacific Islanders. So what I'm going to be talking about today is flavored tobacco and young people. And so before I did this, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I wanted you to take a look at these products, and I want you to see if you can pick out which one is the tobacco product. So I'll give you a couple seconds. All right, does anybody want to take a guess? Okay, so it's not all of them. You want to go ahead and click? So these 2 here are actually tobacco products. They actually contain nicotine, and they're used to put in vape products, so they're vape juices. The other one is just a harmless eraser. But if you can notice how difficult it is to spot the ones that are tobacco products and which ones aren't, this is the same thing that our young people are actually dealing with on a daily basis. So 86.9% of all adult cigarette smokers began smoking before the age of 18. This is according to research. And so as we look at those that are using products and we look at young people in specific, we know that 80% of kids who ever used tobacco actually started with a flavored tobacco product. So flavorings in tobacco products, especially menthol, are very concerning to us because they help mask the naturally harsh taste of tobacco, making it easier for youth and new smokers to begin and keep smoking tobacco. So the different types of tobacco products that I'll be kind of talking about today is Swisher Sweets. So those are cigarillos, mini cigars. I'll also be mentioning a little bit about vape juices, and then you can see the different products on below as well, looking at things that are like used in hookah pipes. And so these products, as you see, they're disguised to be very colorful, very appealing to young people. If you see the Swisher Sweets in specific, they're very affordable. So we know that cigarettes now are very expensive, but young people aren't allowed to purchase single cigarettes anymore. So it makes it to where it's really hard for them to be able to afford, $10. Versus if you look at the Swisher Sweets, they can actually purchase 2 of these for $1.49. In some instances, you can actually purchase one for as little as 69 cents. And so you can also see here on this slide, it talks about, it shows you the vape juices. And so you can see that the vape juices are pretty much look like the same products that these young people purchase on a daily basis. I mean, you see cookies, you see apple juice, we have candy-looking products. And so the industry has really identified the next big way that they can hook our young people. You'll notice that the flavoring is things that young people are really attracted to, sour flavors, sweet flavors. And what the industry has actually done is that they've created more flavors than the imagination could ever imagine. You want to click on this one? So a few years ago, when I first started working in tobacco control again, I kind of came back to the field. I was telling everybody there were 7,000 flavors, and I remember talking about how it's unimaginable how you could come up with 7,000 flavors. I don't think I could come up with even 100. 3 years later, now there's 15,000 flavors out there and counting because constantly they're being updated. And so when you think about, well, there can't possibly be that many flavors, what the industry has actually started doing is that they're not even tapping into flavors anymore. They're basically looking and reaching into the minds of young people and creating flavors like dragon's blood. Things that they can imagine, but we don't necessarily know what they even taste like. So if you think about that, that makes this basically endless. And so the less dangerous these tobacco products seem to young people, the more likely they are to use it. We now know that e-cigarettes are actually the most commonly used product by young people. They actually surpass traditional cigarettes. So more young people are actually seeing these vape products and thinking that they are safer, that they're less harmful than regular cigarettes, and so they're using them at much higher rates. And so as we think about the impact of these flavors on our young people, obviously we have to consider addiction as one of those, But other things are that these cigarillos actually can come in lots of flavors and have 3 times the tobacco of cigarettes. They can lead to lung and oral cancers plus heart disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and aortic aneurysms. We also know that tobacco use kills more Americans than AIDS, alcohol, motor vehicles, homicide, illegal drugs, and suicide combined. And as we look at those vape devices again, these young people are being misled to think that they're safe. They're thinking that it's harmless water vapor. So when they imagine these e-cigarettes, they're thinking about the steam that comes off of a shower head. It quickly dissipates and you no longer see it or smell it. But in reality, it's actually an aerosol. So when you think about aerosol, you got to think about like hairspray. So when you spray hairspray, you see it and it dissipates and you no longer see it. But many times we feel the residue that's left behind. And so that's similar to what vape juices and vape products are providing to these young people. And so youth that initiate substance use before the age of 14 are at greatest risk for substance dependence and have a 34% prevalence rate of lifetime substance use. And we know that the brain doesn't actually stop developing until around the age of 25. So the industry, if they can figure out a way to target our young people at a much younger age, they know that this is the peak age to develop addiction in our young people. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on how this all kind of came about. So in the 1930s, the tobacco companies actually used to work with candy manufacturers to market candy cigarettes. There was ads out like this one that says, "Just like Daddy." And they were used to entice kids from a really early age to initiate them into tobacco use, and hopefully they would eventually become long lifetime users. In 1978, Lorillard, one of the tobacco companies, actually started testing new flavors, including marshmallow, cherry, and tutti frutti. And the flavored cigarettes were actually known as younger people beginner cigarettes. This was a big strategy used by the tobacco companies to attract the younger population and again, to mask that naturally harsh taste of tobacco so that it would be easier for these young people to be hooked onto their products. In the 1990s, internal documents were actually exposed where they even talked about how they were going to hook tidal wave 2, which was actually their code word for the generation known as millennials. The R.J. Reynolds company and makers of Winston and Camel cigarettes actually said, realistically, if our company is to survive and prosper over the long term, we must get our share of the youth market. In 2009, the use of flavorings was actually banned in the U.S. in cigarettes. This was part of the Tobacco Control Act. However, this law only included cigarettes and not cigars, smokeless tobacco, hookah, and electronic cigarettes. It also excluded menthol, and it became the only flavored cigarette left on the market. In 2010, manufacturers of flavored cigarettes actually started to change how they produce their products to actually consider them little cigars so that they wouldn't fall under the regulations that were put out there. And as if you can see, the sales of flavored cigars increased nearly 50% from 2008 to 2015. Like I had mentioned before, in 2014, e-cigarette flavors have actually, since then, they actually doubled. So we've seen 3 years ago, we saw 7,764. We actually had young people that work with us memorize that number so they could tell people about it, and it seemed like so quickly that number changed to 15,000. In 2018, Juul, which is a device actually used to be able to vape the vape juices, that brand of flavored e-cigarettes, it actually looks like a flash drive. So you can actually see it in the picture there. It's very easily hidden from people. It's very discreet. They could actually have it in classrooms and different places, and the young people, nobody would actually know what it is unless somebody was specifically trained to actually look for this product. This product is now commanding 56.4% of the e-cigarette market, and they made $224 million in the first fiscal year. And now this product is actually even under investigation because they think that they're targeting minors. So they're saying that it's worth $15 billion, and they're saying that the use of this product is so pervasive that they're actually saying that juuling is now a verb among young people. So what we know about the data and what we know about what's happening in our communities is that we're seeing a lot of tobacco retailers provide these products in our local communities. And what we know from the research is that tobacco retailers and their proximity to schools have been associated with higher rates of youth smoking, cigarettes smoked per day, and lower rates of quitting. And so you can see in the city of Livingston, we have currently 18 tobacco retailers. And those that are within 500 feet of schools, or we have 2, and we actually have 4 that are within 1,000 feet of schools. And I'm going to show you a map so you can see where they're at. So the dark yellow that you see there, the gold, kind of goldenrod color, is actually your schools here, and that includes elementary school, middle schools, and high schools. The dots represent tobacco retailers, and then the rings represent 500 and 1,000 feet out. And so if you can see where the tobacco retailers are most closely located, you have 4 that are within 1,000 feet, and you have a few more that are actually not that too much far out. So a lot of states and local communities have realized that they have clear authority to restrict the sale of flavored tobacco products to reduce tobacco use and its harm to its citizens. There's been at least 2 states and over 100 local communities in the U.S. that have already restricted the sale of flavored tobacco products in their own communities. More recently, this was one of more the high-profile situations, was that San Francisco actually banned all flavored tobacco products in their community. And so this is just a bit of education for the council to consider. What I'd like to do is that I'd like to invite some young people that actually work with the California Health Collaborative to share a little bit about their own experiences with flavored tobacco.
Hello, my name is Griselda.
My name is Dulce.
And my name is Crusadie.
And we are part of the Action Youth Coalition. Action stands for Advocates Countering Tobacco in Our Neighborhood. We are part of the California Health Collaborative. We all attend school in Merced, but we advocate against tobacco in various communities throughout Merced, including Livingston. I have been part of the Action Youth Coalition for 3 years now.
And I have been part of the Action Youth Coalition for 2 years.
And I have been part of the Action Youth Coalition for 1 year.
Some of the things I've noticed are people smoking and vaping on social media. I've seen people my age vaping on Snapchat and Instagram. I've also seen them vaping at schools and even in classrooms because it's so easy to hide. The devices that are used to vape the e-juices look like USBs or other things that are easy to hide. Looking at all the flavors, it's obvious they want youth to try it. Parents and teachers may not catch it when smoked because it smells sweet and looks just like candy.
When I see flavored tobacco products, it makes me feel as if the industry is using us, the youth, to make profit, knowing how harmful it is. I am concerned about how easy it is to access and disappointed that the industry would make these products so appealing to youth just like me.
Many youth think that vaping was just flavored water vapor and unharmful, but in reality it's actually really harmful and has a bunch of harmful chemicals such as nicotine and lead, and many youth would think the same. I think city councils throughout Merced County should try to prevent youth from using these products. Youth are attracted to them, and it would make them less likely to be exposed to these products.
So we also have a community resident here that's going to talk a little bit about his experience.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mr. Moran, and I'm also a resident, and I'm also a teacher, being here in the community for many years. And as a teacher and as a resident of Livingston, I'm concerned about the tobacco industry's use of flavors to entice kids into a life of addiction. Not only do they use flavors, as you've seen it already, but they also use kid-friendly packaging, being kind of deceiving into thinking their products are harmless. Our youth face enough challenges as it is. In this time of, especially in this time of their brain development, we should be setting them up for success. They deserve better. I ask for your leadership in addressing how we can keep our kids safe from an industry determined to do them harm. As a resident of Livingston, I ask that the council consider adopting a policy to restrict the sale of flavored tobacco in our community. Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions, council? I'm going to go and open up if there's any questions or comments from the public.
Good evening, Council. Supervisor Mercedes Rodrigo Espinosa. Well, due to the tobacco, we have the passing away of Ralph Kunkerst, which is Mila's. Everybody knows Mila from the phone company. Her husband passed away due to chew tobacco in the past. It's all related to tobacco, so I express my condolences to the family, to the Karen Cross family, and so I hear the concerns about all the tobacco products and the negative that it has on our bodies and our lives. Thank you very much.
Any other comments? Thank you, Supervisor. For those of you who don't know, Mila's my aunt. That was my uncle, so he just passed away recently from cancer and just from tobacco use. So,
Yes, Mr. Mayor, make a few comments here. First of all, I want to just highlight, the importance that you all as council members have in setting policy for our community and looking after the well-being of our residents. One, and there's a point that I want to make, and that is that I've had the great fortune of being able to work with Evie, the director, Mr. Hernandez out there, with the California Health Collaborative for several years. I actually served on the Family and Children's Commission in Fresno County for, I think it was 8 or 9 years. And I've seen the work that they've been doing over the years. I think you might even recognize him and some others here that have actually come before us, I believe in 2012, 2013, and they were also addressing, tobacco use. You've seen the numbers as it relates to the presentation that they made, staggering numbers. At the end of the day, we are going to be paying one way or another for those youth that are out there that are going to get ill and have to address a number of different categories of health issues. So it's definitely something that we should look at, and there's a full gamut. And I know that the Health Collaborative can certainly provide us sample ordinances from other municipalities, from other counties, et cetera, that would look at what would best fit for our community here, and it can be incremental, or you guys can decide on something wide and vast. But yes, can they go somewhere else and buy it? Absolutely. But we, just by looking at this seriously and addressing it, we, in one way or another, are communicating to our health institutions here and our educators and our community that we care and that we're going to do everything we can to at least address the issue from our community. So thank you for allowing this group to present, and the youth did an outstanding job in presenting, so let's give them a round of applause.
Council, do you have any comments or questions? Okay.
So will your proposed ordinance also limit like Black and Milds that have honey flavored tips? Or is it just the ones that actually have the flavoring in the name? Yeah.
So the state actually has a certain description for flavored products, and so it would really depend if it fell under the category of flavored tobacco products. I believe Black and Milds do fall under the category of flavored tobacco products, but it could be something we can definitely come back and bring that back to the council.
Here's a question for Daisy. So how soon would you be able to share some drafts with our council? Would the council be interested in possibly even having a workshop on just this subject matter? How would you like to proceed? I would like to get some direction from council, because well, personally, for me, this is of utmost importance, and I don't want it to just kind of linger. I would like to kind of get a feel for what our electeds are thinking and would like to do so that we can work with this group of folks and move something forward.
I have a legal question. Do I need to recuse myself? Like, because I smoke Black and Milds. Okay, just checking. All right. Okay, that's true. No financial. All right.
That's a good question, Jose.
I hope you have life insurance, buddy.
The,
I have to pay more for my life insurance. It's horrible.
the way I look at it, most of us, have kids here. Obviously, everyone knows I coach youth football, and we have the age group that I have is 12 and 13, which is in that area, and we always push for a healthy lifestyle. But the way I look at it, it is a war from the tobacco company. They're going to war to try and get our kids to become addictive. So it's a battle that we need to fight to make sure that our kids stay away from tobacco. I don't have anything on people that smoke, but as an adult, you have that choice. But, our kids are still growing and learning. And, I think it's very deceptive and, sneaky that they target kids and make things look like juice boxes and other things. So I would be okay with banning those products, just like San Francisco. So a workshop would be okay with me if council would like to move in that direction.
I agree with that. I think it would be appropriate to have a workshop, probably get some sample ordinances and other.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You said samples like outside there for a second.
I knew you were thinking that. But just to see what other type of work you've done with other cities and see how that looks. Yeah.
I don't want kids addicted like me, so.
Chief, I'm sorry, Councilmember. Did the age limit go up from 18 to 21 now to buy tobacco products? Yes. So it's 21 now? Okay.
That's a mini coffin. There you go.
So that one pod actually is 200 puffs that are included in it, so it's basically a pack of cigarettes in one pod.
They're nasty. You can lose your voice from that.
How much is each?
That whole box is $55. It comes with the device and the pods, and then the pods sold separately. I think it's like $20.
Yeah, from reading the back, it has different flavors of Cool Mint, Mango, Cream Brews. It says Virginia Tobacco, 5% strength. So.
Very addicting, and
what we noticed as the kids, they use it like more like a game to see like how big they can blow the smoke and do little tricks and stuff like that.
I've seen that on Snapchat, yeah.
It's more becoming like this fad for them, and they're not even thinking the health consciousness of it. It's just so accessible.
Isn't there a new lung disorder too that's specifically that comes with vaping? Popcorn lung, yeah.
like Daisy mentioned, they're half the market share of all e-cigarettes themselves. Half. So they're going off the shelf.
Okay, so,
Well, thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you, ladies, for coming up and actually educating us. You know, I've seen these, you know, you go and put gas, and I really don't pay attention to it, but, you know, I have 3 kids, and I would not like them to get into this. I'm sure we can keep our kids safe. That's the main thing. You know, great kids make a great community, and we need to keep our kids safe,
so fantastic. So I will be in contact so that we can schedule a workshop and then begin presenting council with some drafts and go from there. All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for your presentation, and we'll go ahead and move on to announcements and reports. I have Supervisor Espinoza.
Good evening, Council. I'm going to say a little bit more about tobacco. A few years ago, I think it was the California Health Collaborative. They came to our, here to our council and talked to a few, I guess all the council members. But I think they wanted to put a tax on tobacco, which is per business about $300 a year. But that would fund an officer from the police department to keep teenagers from. I guess it would be decoys from the police department to keep teens away from buying tobacco. So, I know it's pretty close to the election, and I'm gonna press that after the election. I know that some members from the community here, future, council members are here probably. Depends who wins. I'm gonna bring it back and say, that we adopt that. You got a question?
Yeah, are you going to present that to the county as well and try to do the same thing there?
I could try there. I could try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the county doing workshops or anything of that nature?
Yeah. Well, I can always ask the California Health Collaborative to give us, because they're the ones that came in and they asked us if we could try to get us to put and we actually discussed it in a council and it got turned down. But, cigarettes went from $1, $3, $6 right now per pack, and that's a lot of money. I was at a store and I didn't know, I've never smoked, so I didn't know that they paid $6 for a pack of cigarettes. That's ridiculous. But $300 is nothing per business. We got 18 that sell tobacco products, and that would that would pay employees to make sure that hardly any team from Livingston or depends where they come from to avoid getting hooked up on tobacco products, because it's a lifelong thing, and we've seen it's just a negative. The terrible causes of cancer, and so it's very frustrating. So, and other than that, I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. Also, last night I attended the Merced City Council meeting on behalf of the Fernando Indoor Soccer Club, which is the biggest recreation program in Merced County. It's unfortunate that he didn't have a contract, and the property owner where he was at applied for a cannabis permit, and so the planning commission approved the cannabis, and he's going to be out. But he wasn't angry because the property owner applied. He was angry because the planning commission never notified him that there was an application where the location where he was at. Knowing the city uses the recreation programs from the city, from the schools. They use that indoor soccer to have to play indoor soccer. So they always stated the address, but not Merced Indoor Soccer and the address. So he didn't find out till like 2 weeks ago. And then this application has been there since before April, I think. So it's pretty disheartening that and what I said to the council last night was that, look, even if they made a mistake, the planning commission or for whatever, you guys have the ability to bring it and to bring it to the city council and be transparent with the community. Even if you're going to make a hard decision and say, you know what, I'm sorry, the property is owner has a right to apply, but you're going to bring down a business that's very, very a recreation program. He runs, of course, outside soccer fields and indoor. It's all together. But when he has tournaments, every single room in Merced it gets filled. The restaurants, he's gotten complaints from restaurant owners saying why they didn't get advance notice because they ran out of food. That bad, he's told me. So but that that's I don't know if that's a negative, but and I told him Merced Soccer is the biggest program in the county, and we should be helping them. That's what we, as council members, as mayors, we run on trying to make sure that we improve our recreation programs in our cities and in the county. So that's very, like I said, very sad news. And now, it's going to cost them just $200,000 because the rug and all that carpeting is very expensive to move and to find another location and to bring it up to code. Now a big center like that has to have a sprinkler system, so it's very frustrating. So I don't have much other than that right now, but unless you guys have any questions or any questions from the public?
Well, I was just going to make mention, Supervisor, that I heard of this circumstance, this situation, and we're actively looking within the city of Livingston to see if we can accommodate his needs and bring him here, because if these other communities don't see the value, we do. And so I've been doing a lot of research, and so I'm going to be making contact with him soon.
Well, definitely, if we need one here, we need one in Merced, because like I said, but he's got, so many teams that play just from 5 years old and up to adults.
He has kids that are professional.
Boys and girls and adults and everything in the middle. So, yes. Yeah. I see people from Livingston from all around, just even outside the county, so that's a huge impact
very
to the
impressive.
community.
You can tell that he's done marvelous work, especially because several of his kids have gone on and played professionally. And you have all these different folks out there that are looking at recruiting kids from this area because of him. So
Last summer, we were at Merced College with the mayor and, the Merced College superintendent. He had 100 teams there that played, and like I said, every room in the city and even everywhere in the county was filled. And the mayor was there. It's like even teams from Guadalajara, from all around the state, even out of state, from Arizona, Nevada. So thank you, very big impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. They're always welcome here if we can accommodate them, just like our city manager said. We'd love to open up our fields and coordinate, so. Next, Chief. Was there any questions for the supervisor? From the okay. All right. Moving forward, we have our police chief.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council again, members of the public. Last time I was here, I was in a suit with my little American flag. Today I'm with my uniform, sporting the breast cancer awareness police patch, the pink patch, which it's voluntary for our employees to wear for the month of October. So we're supportive. Anyways, just an update for our police department. One of the things that, one of the things we're asked to provide a department overview and an organizational chart. As you know, we're the largest agency or largest department within the city. We take about 60%, I believe, Brad, of the budget, the city budget, which is about par for most public public safety police agencies within the state. This is an org chart. I know it's kind of small to read, but I will provide a copy to anybody that'd like one. Also, you can probably get it on the gardening snail probably sometime soon. That we'll make sure we provide it there for a resource. But for what's that? Gardening snail. Yeah. So with the police department, where there's about 30 employees full-time for the police department, 20 sworn officers. Right now we currently have 2 reserve officers, and we have 10 civilian staff. are non-sworn, which includes 6 dispatchers, a couple of managers, the police assistant 2, and our animal control officer. We just completed a testing cycle for police officers. We had 9 applicants, and we're actually sending 6 of them to backgrounds. We will be experiencing 1 vacancy at the end of this week for one of our officers that's going to be going to another department. And so we will hopefully be able to fill that vacancy pretty quickly. For those that tested, while there's no vacancies, we will hope to recruit those to be reserve officers here. And so that's something we're always trying to do. A lot of times we'll have reserve officers, and if we do have a vacancy, those reserve officers that are trained will just kind of plug right into the position, which is the case with Officer Godfrey. He was one of our reserve officers, enjoyed police work. Opening came available, and he decided to jump on it. So. Responsibilities and duties of the police chief. Overall leadership of the organization. I must ensure compliance with all laws and statutes. Again, I'm very up on all the laws that come out, not only from different legal sources that send me emails, stuff like that, but California Police Chiefs Association sends out updates. Myers Nave sends out updates. Liebert Cassidy sends out updates. But we want to keep abreast of all the assembly bills that come down and how they impact public safety. Many times we will take an opinion, and we will contact our elected officials and kind of voice our concerns or our support for different bills that come about that might impact public safety. Developing department goals and objectives. We're on our second 3-year strategic plan right now. When I first got here in 2012, we developed a 3-year plan. Now we're on our second strategic plan, and this is basically a roadmap for our department, for our officers, our dispatchers, to perform their duties in support of the goals and objectives for keeping our community safe. Basically working with the budget. Deanna Sawyer, I got to give her a big shout out. She does a lot with our budget and helps Brad keep track, and she does a great job in that. Looking for grant opportunities. Again, I'm always looking for grant. ABC, we've applied for ABC grants. We've got them. OTS, traffic safety grants, we've received them as well. COPS grants. The countywide grant right now for mental health that we applied for with our MAPS program, something that's very important to us. Just trying to keep those on the forefront and look for opportunities. Community outreach programs, coordinate outside organizations. Again, my goal is to ensure Livingston's represented at all the tables. I currently chair the Merced County Law Enforcement Chiefs Association. The RAN board, Remote Access Network board. I also chair the Magnet, which is the council for Merced Area Gang and Narcotics Enforcement Team. So those are things that I enjoy doing, but again, it's something that us as a leadership within the county is taking that lead role in representing Livingston at the table. Basically directs and recruits staff, prepares reports, ensure training of all post requirements. As I mentioned, the Police Officer Standard and Training is a California state organization that we must comply with all rules and regulations for the state. Every year we are audited. Every employee you hire, they must go through a background. So post comes down, make sure we do in the background correctly. They look at things that we need to improve on. Every 2 years, every police officer, every dispatcher must perform 24 hours of work within to keep up on the standards. Overseer, Explorer, and Post, Cadet Posts. I am the overseer for that and participate in a lot of the activities. And then other duties assigned by our city manager, which is a kind of a catch-all. So now department responsibilities. Our departments are basically entrusted with maintaining safe communities. As I mentioned earlier, respond to crimes in progress, complete reports, collect evidence, interview witnesses, arrest suspects, monitor traffic violations, take reports. We maintain our communications center. Again, we have 6 dispatchers, and we dispatch for Gustina as well. Evidence room. Evidence seems to be a very, very big, important topic, because if you don't perform the duties of collecting evidence, storing it, identifying it, reporting on it correctly, then you can lose cases, which has happened many times. Video storage, Maribel does a great job with that. It's a great, having our body cameras and our in-car cameras, excellent tool for us. However, has developed to the point where it's consuming half of our time is making tapes for the district attorney's office. It's kind of gotten more and more and more. So we're looking at different options for that. There is a bill that just got passed that all video will need to be released if requested within 45 days of the request, unless you can show that it's connected to certain crime or certain evidence. And those are things we're looking at on how to provide that service to the community without impacting our resources too much. Again, that might impact it quite a bit, so we're looking at different opportunities for that. Maintaining equipment, vehicles, our department monitors all citywide events. We're there to maintain community safety for Sweet Potato Festival, 4th of July, parade, things like that. All youth and community programs, and then all other duties as assigned. And that's kind of a snapshot of our duties and as a department. And kind of going over some of the things that we, that city manager did with identifying some of the goals of our city and providing a service to the community was youth and leadership. So again, I show these pictures because I'm proud to support the Explorer Post. The two pictures on the left are brand new Explorers out there working at Laguna Seca directing traffic. And so I'm just proud of the work they do, both Laguna Seca. This is a picture at the very end of the detail, getting ready to come back after a 4-day weekend. That same weekend, we had two details at the same time, one in Pebble Beach and one in Laguna Seca. This was the other half that took this group of cadets down to Pebble Beach to work the Concourse de Elegance. And again, so it provides opportunity for our youth to develop that leadership skills and organization, discipline, teamwork, and things that help them in the future. And we did just get word, one of our explorers, again, I like to tout the work that they do, but also the benefit that it is of being part of the program. One of our explorers actually just got hired by Turlock PD as an officer, and so he will be serving the Turlock community. At the Laguna Seca race, one of the employees for Scramp was very, very impressed. We've been working with her for the last 5 years, so she was impressed. She personally wrote a donation to the Post for $1,500, and that, to me, that was very impressive. She really enjoyed working with our explorers. They just finished up this last weekend. They came back on Sunday. They did another detail down at Rentsport. Again, took 30 kids down there. Again, working for the race. Last month, we were asked, along with 5 other posts, to provide traffic control and security for the Gallo Pops concert at Gallo and Modesto. So we took 33 of our youth down there, and there's cadets from all over working the event. This was the briefing done by Gene Ballantyne, who is the director of security over there and oversees the security. They've got quite the large security force over there. Very, very professional, but we're part of their program, and they've invited us to come out there, and at the conclusion, they'll provide a donation to the Post. And to show you how busy it was, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Pops concerts, but it's a great venue. This is before the event. I think they had like 4,000 or 5,000 people. And then at the end of the night, and again, the kids, they do a super job. And Zeus Baldivia and Anthony Vieira both help with that, and they do a great job. Safety fair, this Thursday in downtown, we will have a safety fair. I'm not sure if some of the other folks are going to touch base on this, but basically from 5 to 8 p.m., all services are free. They're going to be car seat inspections, fire and police resources, identity theft. We're going to have 2 bins out there to collect any material that might have personal information on there to prevent identity theft. We're asking only residents only, no commercial. The bins, there's only 2 bins. We don't want to get it filled up. We want to make room for our residents. Vehicle, battery and tire checks, blood pressure, glucose test, flu shots, stroke risk assessment, all downtown here. 5 to 8 as part of the fair. October 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will have two of our volunteers in our lobby collecting unwanted or expired medication. And again, we encourage our residents not to throw them down the toilet, but to dispose of them properly. And so we will be providing that service. It's a national day. It's a national drug tag day. So all departments across the United States are open to participate. And at the conclusion, all the collected medications destroyed by the DE's office up in Stockton area. Livingston Police Department, along with Foster Farms, hosted some FBI National Academy Associates training. It was on the MS-13 investigations that are occurring throughout the Central Valley. We had law enforcement leaders from all the way from Sacramento down to past Fresno. And we were fortunate to have a lot of folks from down in Fresno where came to speak. And we actually had 2 police officers from El Salvador that provided some of the training on that, on what's going on with MS-13 in the Central Valley here. So it was a good opportunity, again, to showcase what we have here in Livingston, but to partner with our business community to provide this very important training for all law enforcement. Last month, the director of FBI invited police chiefs from throughout the region. As you know, there's 4 offices, FBI offices in California. Sacramento region is where we fall under. He's made a commitment to visit all 56 FBI offices throughout the United States and try to meet with as many police chiefs as he could. So we got invited, and he talked about, had a chance to talk about some of the things that are going on in the FBI. Again, make sure Livingston's represented and we're at the table promoting our region. This week. We have a new warden in town, Stephen Lake. He took over the United States Penitentiary at Atwater. Really great guy. And he is going to revamp and restart the Community Relations Board. That's the program that allows their inmates to come into the community to provide a service, whether it's setting up for our festivals, cleaning up, things like that. He's very excited about that and working with us. So myself and city manager and Jackie are setting up in the process of trying to set up a lunch with them so we can talk about some of the things that we do here in Livingston. This is another training. We got the Sacramento supervising agent in charge, Sean, that we attended. And it's important that we attend these trainings. You're able to develop networks, but the support that the FBI give us is phenomenal, and we appreciate the relationship that they have with the Livingston Police Department. One of the things that we had a really neat presentation that talked about the kind of latest in keeping the community safe, the trends in providing safety for our residents. They talked about prolific offenders, criminal groups, repeated victims, crime hotspots. With that, went to a great discussion on the origin of intelligent-led policing, identifying those areas that might be prone to people committing crimes and how to get ahead of the curve. And so it was excellent training. I think that's it. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the public?
Yes. Yeah. All right, thank you.
Counsel, you have any questions?
Hey, Chief, if you can do me a favor, and,
Yes, sir.
and if, I mean, you kind of already done it in a way, but if you can just, in a concise way, communicate out, what you're charged with as chief and as your department.
Well, the main thing is basically setting the direction, being at the helm of an agency that employs the most employees for the city and providing that leadership, that role modeling, and providing the direction and ensuring that our employees perform their duties that they're tasked with. Whether it's an officer, dispatcher, things like that. And again, I really, I like to take the lead and ensure we get like the body cameras, things like that, because that really ensures that we have a department that's professional. And so I think it's important to take that lead and take that leadership role and ensure that our city, our department is represented at all levels, locally, regionally, and statewide. And so I'm proud to represent the city of Livingston. I'm Proud to wear my 5-year pin here. So I've been here almost going on 7 years now, so I'm trying to get that 10-year pin. So anyways, hopefully that answers your...
Yeah, thank you, Chief.
Okay.
I have two things, Chief. One, just want to compliment you on your Explorers at the Sweet Potato Festival. My wife was dropping me off, and one of your Explorers did not give me any preferential treatment.
Uh-oh.
It actually happens to be my neighbor, so she did a good job. Jose had to come in and, hey, let him through. So she knew who I was, but she did a good job, Joanna. So she did her job. So that was compliments to her. And then the second thing I have, let's see here. I have something here. It says, congratulations on being selected as a member of the inaugural group of Justice Studies Hall of Fame inductees. We decided our last meeting that if anyone deserves this honor, it is you. You will be inducted at the Justice Studies Showcase on Thursday, November 8th at the POA Hall. And it is from Jan Hageman, Emerita Lecturer, Justice Studies, San Jose State University. Congratulations, Chief.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that, Mayor. Thank you very much. And anybody's welcome to come. But we're honored to have some very, very heavy hitters at this event. And one of them is going to be a district court judge out of Washington, D.C. So he'll be out there. He's another alum. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Mayor, Council, I just, when I'm doing speeches or any comments out in the county, I like to brag that Livingston has the safest and cleanest city in Merced County. They don't like that, but, and I do, we have the best chief in the county as well, too. So, he does a great job of keeping our officers straight. And, also I want to congratulate the new dispatcher and the new police officers, too. So I know the chief is recruiting the best, so thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, city manager, city attorney, members of the audience, and those who are out there in TV land. Probably a lot of you don't know who I am. That's why I'm kind of standing up here to let you know who I am. The council knows who I am. The interim finance director here in Livingston. And I wish I wasn't here because that guy is back. Really made up of kind of two pieces. There's kind of the administrative services division, and there's the finance division.
Any questions, council?
And any questions from the public? I've asked all my department heads to give an overview of their charge and their department, so this is a good opportunity to ask some questions if you have any.
Thank you.
Any other staff reports? All right, we'll go ahead and move on to city manager reports.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Council and esteemed public, I do have a few items that I want to cover. The first item is that there is going to be some local planning forums that are going to be taking place, and this is part of the Merced County WorkNet. And let's see, there's going to be, they're all going to take place in Merced. I'll just kind of mention the session topic real quickly, and those that are interested can certainly check in at City Hall, and we can provide more detail on this. But session topic number 1 is improving services to English language learners, immigrants, and foreign-born individuals. Second session topic is partnerships with local child support agencies to serve non-custodial parents. The third one is community forum on local workforce planning. And lastly, serving persons with disabilities through competitive integrated employment. So again, these are open to the public, and they vary from 2 o'clock at different times and in different places. If you're interested, please come by City Hall, and we're more than happy to share that. Also, as you know, there's been, this opioid crisis, nationwide, and so legal counsel and I, we're actually looking into how we fit in all of this, and we'll be providing you some updates as time goes on. But again, what we're trying to see if, what is the impact locally, what are the damages, and how can we recoup, if any, for those costs that we're incurring given that situation. So we'll be briefing you further down the road as we do more of our homework. And then also, I just wanted to give you an update again. You looking at trying to increase more revenue for our community here, just thinking, all over the box. And so we have been approaching foster farms with this concept, and Brad's been helping me with this, and this is the point of sale, So the one big ticket item that is very easy for you to understand, it would be fuel. As you know, foster farms consumes a lot of fuel, but the fuel is actually negotiated and purchased out of Stanislaus County, and it would really make a huge deal if that negotiation would take place here in Livingston, because then the point of sale would be Livingston, and we would be able to benefit from that sales tax generation. Even if we even if we had an agreement with foster farms to give them some of that money back, we would be ahead. So, so we're looking at that. It looks there's a little bit of traction there. We've talked to their tax consultants, and so that's just one area. But we're looking at others. What other stuff do they do? Point of sale is very important. The last item that I have to share is related to we're working on trying to move the AM/PM ARCO station along very quickly. We're the ones kind of pushing them, and so we're hoping that there'll be movement before the end of this year. Definitely start construction after when the weather gets better, start of next year. Again, this is at the teardrop that's over here off of Hammett and Campbell, kind of right there by the freeway. And it's more than the ARCO AM/PM. There's also a 2,500 square foot space that we believe another business can go in there. Whether it's a Rita's frozen Italian, yogurt place, whatever, or down the way, there's also another, I believe it's about 3,000 square feet, and that can be, we're talking to Black Bear Diner and Denny's, and they're looking for franchisees, so if anybody's interested in that. And so we also have some other leads on the other property. There's one investor that we got to buy up all that area. So we're hoping that we can help him subdivide that, and then we can master plan the whole area. So there's some movement in there, and that's all I have, unless council has any questions. Thank you.
Any questions, council? Any questions, comments from the public? I do want to take this time, I want to recognize Mr. Julio Valadez, School District 3, correct? He's an artist, and then also, I apologize, former council member, Ms. Teresa Land, also, and any other dignitaries or past dignitaries I missed? All right, thank you for joining us. I apologize, I should have done it from the beginning. Move on to city council member announcement reports. We'll start out with Council Member McCabe.
Sweet Potato Festival was a great time this year. We served over 1,000 samosas at the Friday night Punjabi night. We had over 1,200 people in attendance is the estimates, and that would make it the most successful Friday night we've ever had at the Sweet Potato Festival, so it was very exciting. I donated my stipend that I get here at the council for that event, and I will be donating any future stipends I have to keep that event going, and potentially also pay to get some little higher end bondas as well. I'm excited to see the Sweet Potato Festival really take on a new life. Jose and I had conversations about starting it 6 years ago, and it's amazing to see it go from one little booth at the 4th of July festival to what it's become. On another note, Jackie and I, back in I would say 6 or 7 years ago, we had talked about doing a rose garden at one of our parks. Recently, about 2 months ago, Lewis Randall passed away. And Lewis Randall was a great public servant here in Livingston. I believe he taught at Livingston High School horticulture for over 25 years. Maybe it was 27 or 28. I can't remember the exact amount. I think it would be a great thing for us to honor him with a rose garden. I've had some FFA members come up and say that they would help plant it, and obviously I would be more than happy to help with that. I was a Rosarian over at Cal Poly, and I think that'd be a great way to honor his memory. I'll be asking council to put that on the agenda for our next meeting to do a nice rose garden in the memory of this man who gave so much to our community and died far too young. And beyond that, once again, thank you to all the staff and all the volunteers at the Sweet Potato Festival. It was great. And then a shout out to Public Works. Man, I keep on seeing the guys out there just really working hard. The other day I saw them on the banks on Peach, clearing out all the brush. Just really proud of their effort, really proud of their work. You can really see it in our parks. I did a tour of, not a tour. I drove over to Lucero Park and saw the new paint job, and I was really impressed. And I saw the new bark over there at Arcalian, and just good job. If you can pass it on to the men, I really appreciate it. I'm really proud of their work. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Councilmember McCabe. Councilmember Aguilar?
The only thing I have is, as the police chief mentioned, was the safety fair this Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. Hopefully the public come out. This will be great health checkups, a lot of good resources from different vendors and departments in the county. So come out, be a good resource for the community. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember Aguilar.
Just big shout out, Jackie. Thanks for all the help, the work you put for the Sweet Potato Festival, all the volunteers. Great event. We really appreciate it. We loved it. So, again, thank you and appreciate all the work.
Same here, just piggyback on that. It was a great event. The food was great. The atmosphere was great. The people were great. So thank you to all city staff that put in the hard work. It doesn't go unrecognized. So we do appreciate it, and we're looking forward to next year's event. Jackie, are we going to do the trunk and treat this October? Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a great event. have to figure out a costume to take this year. So, the only thing I have is, that was a great event, Sweet Potato Festival. And on a football note, we are playing Modesto Broncos this Saturday, so come out and support the boys and girls, Livingston Youth Football and Cheer. Varsity's games at 7, but it's always nice to see the little ones playing sport. We've partnered with the high school, and we're pretty much doing what the high school plays are to try and eventually build a championship high school football team again. So come out and support them. If not, come out and grab we have the best linguiça sandwiches and tri-tip sandwiches, so come out and support the kids. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Any questions for me? No? All right, we'll go ahead and move on to citizen comments. This session of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item not otherwise on the agenda. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the city council this evening. For items which are on the agenda this evening, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to address the city council as each item is brought up for discussion. Citizen comments open at 8:55.
Hi, just something real quick, 945 Parkview Drive, Livingston, California, Jose Moran. I just want to say thank you. I haven't had the opportunity to say thank you for the city manager and the city council and the city staff that they were able to provide, well, they were actually able to build a half basketball court over at our park south of Peach, which was great. Now kids actually, we see them playing out there every afternoon. Now it's like, now they don't have to actually walk or find a way or a ride to go to all the way across town. That was great. And the maintenance that they're doing there, you know, it's always kept up. I just got to talk to the chief about, it's becoming too popular in the afternoons, late at night. But that is something that I'll talk to them about. And I don't know, just some ideas. I think I'm probably going to start wearing a badge myself too, you know, just because I'm just talking to a lot of people there late at night. But anyways, I mean, it's if we can do those half basketball courts, some of the other parks, it would just be more for kids to do and play in the afternoons or even on the weekends. So, which is great, and just the work that you guys are doing. All right, thanks.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll close citizen comments at 8:57. Moving forward to the consent agenda, items on the consent calendar are considered routine or non-controversial and will be enacted by one vote unless separate action is requested by the city manager or city council member. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the city council or city manager request that specific items be removed. So we have item 4, approval of the warrant register dated September 27, 2018. Item 5, waive the second reading and adopt ordinance number 635, amending section 428 murals of the Livingston Municipal Code to change the approval body of mural applications from the Planning Commission to the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission. Have any motions or comments, Council?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Councilmember Sicaros has a first. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second by Councilmember Aguilar. Roll call, please.
Councilmember McCabe?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember Siqueiros?
Yes.
Mayor Soria?
Yes.
And for the record, Mayor Pro Tem Samra is current on attendance and is absent is excused.
That looks like it concludes our council meeting for today. Have a good evening. Go home, love your family, drive safely. Have a great evening.